Hello folks, and welcome to another edition of BC Renovation Magazine. So we've been working on this old mobile home here for a while now, and we are finally to the point now that we're getting into some new work. We've got our demolition has been done, and just doing a lot of cleanup. We've got the home re-leveled, and so we're starting now to actually build some new stuff. So we're getting into some fun stuff here now. It's going to get more interesting as we go along. So in the last video we kind of showed you what we did here with the leveling, how we got that all leveled up again. And this one wasn't too bad. It was only about 1.5 inches out of level. We showed you before in previous videos how we have some of this rot on the outside of it here, which is basically just trim. So what we did in preparation of getting ready for building this new deck is we cut out the rotten parts behind, and you can see where we've installed new wood there, and we've done that all along here. So underneath these windows as well, that's all been replaced with new wood right down to the end of the deck there. So in behind the tar paper, it's the wood has all been replaced, and it's all good sound wood now, and we're back to nice and new, nice good sound stuff again. This wall here still needs some work on it. Once we get the new windows, this wall will basically get rebuilt here. We still have some issues here with some rot and stuff, but that's gonna all be taken care of when we get the new windows. So here's a look at the new deck. The new deck is quite different than the old one. This deck is all pressure treated material, and the decking we've chose here is what's called a 5/4 by 6 material, and so it's actually measures, the actual measurements are 1 inch thick. That's the 5/4 part of it, and then it's 5.5 inches wide. So it gives you a nice coverage. So this is treated lumber. You can leave it to weather naturally if you want, or you can put a stain on it. We don't recommend painting decks. We find the best finish over the years for us has been a semi-transparent oil stain. So this being treated wood, it has to kind of flash off so the preservatives get out of it. So you basically don't want to do anything to this now for about 3 months before you would apply a finish. So I'll just give you a walk around. So we've set the deck on these concrete deck blocks, and again, just like the mobile home itself, these deck blocks are all they just sit on the ground. So there's really nothing in the ground with these. Everything's kind of floats. You can see here we have a 2x8 header, and then underneath we have a 2-ply 2x8 beam. That's all sitting on 4x4s. So come around here, we'll show you kind of what this looks like from the bottom. So here we've done the 2x8 joists. These joists are all set at 16-inch centers. If you remember on the old one, they were 2x6 joists at 2-foot centers, so it was kind of springy. Now this way we avoid that springy thing where you're kind of bouncing on the deck. Just the heavier, beefier lumber makes it much better. And so we've attached a 2x8 header to the mobile home up here, and you can see how we've used the Simpson strong tie joist hangers, so that hangs the joists off of that header. Over on this side, the joists are actually sitting on that beam, and then they cantilever over. So the beam has all been set back. You can see how the beam is set back from the edge of the header there, and that's all looking ahead, thinking ahead for skirting. There's going to be we need room for the skirting to get past the end of the beam and such. So the old deck that was here was hanging off of the mobile home itself, and that was not acceptable. In our area, we have our code states that you can't attach anything. You can't attach anything to the mobile home that's going to load it. So the deck is attached, but this deck is standing on its own. So you can see here where we have this row of posts and footers down along the inside, alongside of the mobile home, and then we also have it sitting over here. So you could technically take the mobile home away, and the deck would still stand here on its own. So that is a code requirement. Our building authority here feels that the walls of the mobile home are engineered to support the mobile home itself and nothing extra. And so by doing it this way, we don't put any additional load onto the mobile home itself. So basically, what we're concerned about with attaching here, as far as attaching, is we want to put it's screwed, and we'll be putting some lag bolts in there as well to just keep it from pulling away from the home. So up along here now, you can see we have one board left to go in, and that's almost a full board. Well, it is a full board. It's going to fit right in there. And before we put that board in, there's going to be a 3x3 L flashing that's going to get put in there, and that will prevent water from getting in behind and going in behind the header there. It'll direct the water away. So that's going to create a really good waterproof seal there. Then when the new building paper goes on, it'll go over that flashing, and the new siding will go over top of that. So the water will shed down the wall, and then out onto the deck, and then out underneath. So quite often you'll see when people put decks down, they space these boards. They space them, and what you can find will happen is if you space your boards when you lay it, as the board dries out, you can end up with a really wide space, because the boards will shrink quite a bit, as they dry out. So you can see even here, these boards here were all set tight, and just a few days of sunshine shining on them, you can see how already they're opening up. So if we would have spaced it, you can see how the space would start to get quite wide. And that's not such a nice thing, really. It's just nice to have them tighter. So these boards do move in wintertime. When they get wet and we start getting snow and rain on them, they will expand back out. So back in the wintertime, it gets back to pretty tight. So now we're going to go around to the back and build a back step, and then we have to do some. What's next up here is we're going to have to do some grading around the site before we put our new skirting on. So we're just figuring out here where everything's going to go. Basically, we're going to run the steps are going to go up in between those two stakes there. It's going to be a 5-foot wide step, and that will be the step up to the railing, or I'm sorry, up to the deck. The new railings, we use a kind of a custom system where we do a 6x6 post, and then we put metal railing in between. We won't be getting to that right away. That's sort of going to come later. But so getting ready for the steps that are going to go up here. We're going to have to do some grading here. As I say, we're going to have a paver landing here. That's the steps will land on, and then we'll be putting a new sidewalk down to the driveway here. So we also have to get rid of some blocks here. This retaining wall, this all has to get redone here to take care of all of this. You can see the difference in elevation, and again, that all has to be done before we're going to get into our new skirting, because the new skirting has to sit on the proper elevation of ground. You don't want to bury your skirting. If you start piling dirt against the skirting, it pushes it. Eventually you'll end up with crooked skirting. So there you go, folks. That's the new deck. And so if you haven't seen our other videos, go back and check on some of those, and see what we're doing with this old mobile home here, and kind of where we're going with it. If you're interested in this, subscribe to our channel, and share the video, and give us a like, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell, and you'll get notification then when we have put out a new video. Thanks for watching.